Do you want to just double check?
Yeah, I'm trying to load Twitch now. I think it says you're offline still. Unless it's just me.
I'm doing it straight onto the bingo channel rather than mine.
Oh, right, I get you. Get on there now.
Have I had a notification to say bingo's gone live? I'm just hoping that Buddy doesn't join in with the discussion.
Yeah, it's live.
Yeah, we are live. Cool. Okay, so are you okay to share the link in Discord for everybody as well? And then we'll start. I can't. In fact, can I see? I want to have this on. I want to make sure the volume's down. Okay, so I've got my phone because when I'm on Bingo's channel, I don't have access to the chat. So I've got my phone open so that I can see if anything comes through on chat.
Yeah. All right. Brilliant.
Cool. So, yes. If anybody's watching, welcome to the show. So me and Dan are going to do a mid-season or just over mid-season sort of review. What's happened so far, what we think is going to happen over the final couple of rounds, and what that means for the playoffs. So, do you have a preference what league we start in, Dan?
Should we start at the start? So start with not.
Yep. So
arranged, don't they?
So here we can see the league table for Not at the moment shows that Mr. Tiny Face's ankle breakers are kind of running away with it at the moment. I mean, if we have a look at...
With 15 cars, they definitely are ankle breaking.
Absolutely. I mean, they've won every game comfortably. I mean, the TD differential's really good. The casualties also are good as well. If we look into, I'm just going to go into the team as well.
15 casualties caused, 1 conceded. That's not bad, is it?
No, it's pretty good, isn't it? I mean, looking at his team, this was the only returning team for this division, so that kind of gives him a massive head start. Anyway, this is the highest TV division, but all of the other teams in this division were brand new. But looking at his team, he's got a Troll Slayer with a movement increase, as well as also having Mighty Blow and Strip Ball.
That makes him even better for surfing. That's fantastic.
He's got a Blitzer that's got Mighty Blow, Guard, and Stand Firm. Every single player has got at least one level. He's got another Troll Slayer that's got Mighty Blow, Tackle, and Guard. He's got a full roster of 16 players, and all of them have got at least one level. Most of them have got multiple levels, and you can see why he's running away with it.
Yeah, but I mean, I suppose so far I don't think he's got to go up against elves or something like that, has he?
And, no, that's right.
That TV value is so high now that if you were to face, say, my elves from last season, then I'd be able to get a wizard, a couple of babes, and yeah, I think that's maybe the one thing that the ankle breakers got to watch out for is wizards. Yeah, I mean, wizards, the thing wizards is against dwarves.
Yeah, and with having... Against... Go on, sorry, Dan.
No, I was just going to say wizards can really wreck a dwarf's day, really.
Yeah.
Because they'll be caging up and the fireball in there will wreck you, or just a lightning bolt on the ball carrier and then swoop in, grab the ball, and they're gone.
Yeah. The race for second place is interesting. Obviously, you've got Nate with Babylonian Best Life on 7 points against the Dwarf Rats of Namtar on 6. Did they play each other this week? I think they
Yeah,
might have done.
yeah, they did. Yeah.
And Nate did win that 2-1, so that really threw him into the mix. And if we look at
But,
go on, sorry, mate.
But so Nate's last fixture though is against Nate's fixture 5 is against the Ankle Breakers.
Oh right, okay. Yeah, of course.
And Eggers is actually against Namtar, so that's going to be quite lively now for that fight for second place going into week 6.
Well, that's right, and especially we'll come on to this more as we progress. But obviously, the grudge match, as it's being dubbed, will potentially make or break people's seasons. And I think it's a really good way of deciding that first place, second, third versus fourth, and fifth versus sixth. So it means that in that final game, you've not got a lopsided where first or second place goes up against the team towards the bottom and gets an easy win, say. Whereas the other...
The problem we've got, though, looking at the problem teams in this division have got is that you've got one team that looks like it'll be top, and then you've got two teams in second and third who are both fighting for a wild card, who are probably going to have identical records going into game 6. I suspect that the Dwarfs will probably get another win. Then,
if the Dwarfs win and Nate loses, then the Dwarfs will be on 9 points. Nate would be on 7. So that would mean that Nate would be playing the Eggers team, and the Dwarfs would be playing the Ankle Breakers. So, yeah, in some respects, you might think actually I'm going to be better off finishing in third place at the end of the original 5 games.
Well, that's what I think is going to happen. I think that Nate and Eggers are both going to finish on 10 points after 5 games. And because Eggers got that massive 5-0 win last week or this week even.
So you think Nate's going to beat? You think Nate's going to beat the Ankle Breakers?
No, because Nate's already on 10 points.
Oh, is he? Oh, is this not updated? Sorry,
if you look on the bingo table, you'll be looking at the bingo table.
Into not
Spikes.
Yes,
Spikes.
Of course.
Yeah, Spikes.
Spikes behind. I've got no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so I suspect that going into week 6, Eggers and Nate will both be on 10 points.
Yeah,
and then because Eggers got a massive 5-0 win, his touchdown difference will be better. He'll face off against the Ankle Breakers. Then he might get leapfrogged if Nate manages to beat the Dwarf Rats again, which it's not a foregone conclusion because that was quite a close game. So.
Yeah, it was.
But,
it does make the dynamics for the race to the playoffs really interesting. Okay. Let's just have a quick touch on the other teams in this league as well. I mean, if we look towards the bottom, Vexor and Wadness, unfortunately both got the wrong kind of 100% record. They go up against each other this week. Any predictions?
Not really seen too much of these teams. I know
I've not either.
Vex has got Cesspool Sid, and he's got Doc, who I wanted to sign as a draft pick this season. He's got some good players on his team. Cesspool Sid, obviously, being a champion from last season.
Yeah, absolutely. And Doc was in my team last season. I think, was he? I don't know. I had one of the Dwarf Blockers last year.
No, I don't think you had this one because I think you crippled yours. Did you get like an AV bust or something?
I think I did actually. I think you're right.
Yeah,
sounds about right. I'm good at breaking up. I mean, he's got a few levels. Obviously, Cesspool Sid is far and away, but you've also got Tom Wilson, the Black Hawk blocker, who's got Mighty Blow, and that's not a bad shout. I know you. This goes back to the usual discussion between you and Owulf about do you take Mighty Blow or do you take Block?
But I am warm into Mighty Blow, but I still take Block.
You heard it here first, everybody. And if we look at Wadness's Rottweilers, and he took a beating this week. I didn't see the game, but it was out of sight. It was from his point of view extremely disappointing. But again, he's got decent levels on a few of the players. So obviously his best player is the Beast, which is the Mummy, which has got a strength increase, stand firm and guard. So I'm not sure from my point of view if I'd have taken a strength on that, but a strength 6 piece is he's frightening by anybody's.
Yeah, it's tough call between. It's tough taking a decision between block and strength.
Yeah, and especially if you're offered it, you kind of you don't want to turn down Nuffle's gifts, do you? So
no, it might not come again. Whereas block, I need double, so you got a lot more chance of getting that.
He's got the goal with sure hands as well, so in theory makes securing the ball better.
I do think the one problem that Wadness is going to face against Vexer is that he's got no tackle, he's got no wrestle, so getting that gutter on the floor is for me quite tricky.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, it'll also be tricky for Vexer to break down this team when they've got the ball.
Yeah. No, that's right. So I think we can both agree on the predictions for the playoffs is Mr. Tiny Face with the ankle breakers is going to be the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Who do you reckon for if a wild card does come from Not? Who do you think's in the best position at the moment for second?
I think a wild card definitely will come from Not. And so I suspect I'm going to say Nate just because I think he'll end up having to face that Eggers will have to face the ankle breakers again, as you can see.
I think I'm kind of torn. I mean, I really am quite torn. I mean, like you say, both of them are going to have very similar records, and I think you're probably right. I think Nate is probably just going to edge it because of that final week grudge match. You can't see Mr. Tiny Face losing to anybody. And therefore, whoever comes second after the first 5 weeks is going to have a real tough game there. So, yeah, I think you're probably right that Nate, as a result, is probably.
It's actually a shame that second doesn't play third for that one, because I think they'll both be both on identical records, and the drew earlier on in the season. That'd be a really interesting game, them two facing off.
It would.
I reckon what would be a playoff fight.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that's not the way it works. So if we go into N Division next, and I'm going to do it on the Bingo website, so we actually see the current state of play. Now, this division at the moment is 1 game behind. In the fact that Blaine and Horse Lover Fat are playing at some point today for their 4th round match. Now, looking at it, you would expect Blaine to win that. So let's make that assumption that Blaine is top with 10 points at the moment. I'm second on 9, and then Zen on 7. I think that's a reasonable assumption to make. Although, having said that, last week Blaine and Ash drew 1-1. So
I was going to say, I mean, definitely not a foregone conclusion.
And again, last week when I played against the Attack of the Cum Ghost team, I struggled. It was only last couple of turns that I managed to get the winners. So
Underworld, they're a very tricky team to play as early on because they've got none of those mutations at this point. But all the goblins come with dodge, and if you've not got tackle yourself, it's just so frustrating when you're facing up against them.
Yeah.
Particularly if you haven't got a lot of block, although the Chaos Savage, you've got quite a few block pieces now, so they're looking quite well developed.
let's just have a look at Blaine and Horse Lover Fat's teams just going into that game. So let me just bring up the right division in Spike. So we're in not now, aren't we? No, end. You'd have thought I'd know what division I was in after 5 weeks. So here we go. So Blaine's team, just opening it up. So he's got TMNG. Yeah, he's
Teenage Mutant Ninja Goats.
Yeah, he's got some pretty scary Nurgle players here. So Donkey Teeth the Pestigore with sure hands and a plus on the agility tends to be his ball carrier. He's also got.
See why.
Yeah, well, absolutely. He's also got three pieces with Mighty Blow, but he doesn't have a bench. So if you can get a couple of players off, you do have the opportunity to get the numbers advantage. But with all that armor 9 and even armor 8, it's not easy to get them off.
No.
And if we look at Horse Lover, so Attack of the Cum Ghost. This is a family show, so apologies for the for all of the names. But again, so he's got a couple of beastmen that were drafted, which I don't. Oh, has my Fagore's got an additional? Did he have tackle on the draft, or because I can see he's now got a niggling injury, but I can't remember if he had that second level at that point. You've also got another beastman that's got an armor bust, so and there's a lot of armor 7 in this team, so he's not had a huge number of level ups other than the people he drafted. I mean, you've got one goblin that's got 2 heads, so without that development, he's going to be really tough. I would say so. I think probably Blaine will win that. So going into the last round of matches, you've got who have you got? It was on my screen and now it's not. Oh, because the round's not rolled. So here we go. So you've got that dude playing against Horse Lover Fat. So that will be an interesting matchup, both on 3 points as it stands right now. Then you've got Zen against Blaine, and Zen's got a decent side. So you could see anything happening there, and I've obviously got Ash, which although you look at the league table and think that's a foregone conclusion, I really don't think it is, because Ash is a decent player and I'm not. So
Zen reminds me of Arsenal Football Club. Like, you don't know which team's going to turn up. They're going to turn up one day and they're going to be absolutely amazing, and then next week he gets beaten. I'm like, how did you lose that one?
If we look at his team,
yeah, I really like his team.
Yeah, so I was, to be honest with you, I was lucky in the fact that I played him first. So I played him before he got a huge number of additional levels. Obviously, he was returning from last year, but I think
he's got lots of missed next games.
Yeah, he does. Which that is going to be tough against Blaine's Nurgles, definitely. Because the other thing is, it all depends what journeyman he gets. Now, is this a pure team?
No, it's a combination of elves.
Okay, so it all depends partly on the lineman, doesn't it? So
you'll only get one journeyman, I think. Oh, no, 2 journeymen. He's only on 12 players, so he'll go down to 11 for the match.
Okay. Yeah, so...
I do like Boudica. Boudica's got block and sidestep.
He's trying to turn her into Loz, isn't he? Got jump up, obviously, as default. Got the block. And then... what else did you have on Loz last year?
I'm trying to think. I can't remember actually. I don't know. It was maybe Agility 5. I'm not sure.
I can't remember. It was annoying to play against. That's for sure. So yeah, going into.
I remember it now. It was diving tackle, but she never got to use it.
Didn't really come into it, no. So going into match day 5, what's your predictions on the position after that fifth round and who's going to play each other? Would you say?
Well, so that dude playing against Horselover, suspect the Elves will. Well, it's a tough one to go because it depends how the armor breaks go early on. Because I remember when I've played as pro Elves, it's so easy for you to just go down to like 6 or 7 Elves for the second half, and then you've lost the game. But I suppose
both teams both have low armor, don't they? So
yeah, but Horselover's got like 15 players or something, or 25 players on his team. So you might get 4 casualties, but you still don't feel like you've got anywhere.
No, that's
still
true.
plenty more in the tank. So yeah, I suspect it'll really depend on those early armor breaks if the Elves can survive.
Well, I'm going to say that I think that dude playing will beat Horselover Fat. That's my gut feel. So that would take him up to 6 points. If I actually look at the current league table rather than the spike one, that would probably help. So yeah, I think that dude playing, so that'll take him up to 6 points. Then you've got Zen against Blaine. I'm going to have to say I think Blaine will win that. With the missed next games, I think it's going to struggle, be a struggle for Zen.
Yeah, well, I know when I play as Dark Elves, I often struggle against Chaos myself. I don't know why, but
you don't struggle against anybody, mate.
Oh, I do.
Well, you always find a way. That's the thing. Experience comes into it. That's the difference. So yeah, I think on paper I would say I should probably beat Ash, but I'm still not confident. So Ash, if you're watching, that isn't me being arrogant thinking I'm going to win, because I don't.
Well, you need to get retribution after what he did to you last season. Didn't he smash you last year?
I can't remember. If he did, I've probably blocked it out of my brain. I think he did. I think you're right. Yeah, I think he did.
Was he playing as Lizardman maybe? And didn't he
Yeah, I think you're right.
Down to about 4 players, he served about half your team, I think.
Well, that sounds. So many people do that to me, mate. So that would mean, assuming those predictions are right, and that's a big if, that would mean that I'd be playing Blaine in the grudge match. He'd be on 12. I would be he would be on 13, and I'd be on 12. And Zen would be on 10 points, and he would be playing against that dude playing Elves.
I don't think Zen would be on 10 going by your predictions, because I think you had him down to lose.
Did I? Oh, he's playing Blaine, isn't he? So I'm rubbish at this. We ought to get somebody who knew what they were doing to do this rather than me. Just having some technology shouldn't be enough to count.
I just want to say, though, I don't think you're going to win against Ash.
Well, I'm not confident. I always bugger it up at the end. So
looking at the table as it is, that's first against 6, top against bottom, but you always lose games that on paper you look like you should win. So I think you'll lose.
So okay, we'll go with your predictions because you're much more accurate than me. So that would mean that Blaine would be on 13 points.
Yeah. I
would be on 9 and still be playing Blaine. So it looks like I'm playing Blaine whichever, unless Zen does an upset. And that would mean that Zen will either be playing that dude playing or Horselover Fat. So yeah, Zen in either prediction, Zen could definitely pit me into second place. And equally, there's no guarantee that second place is going to get you into the playoffs either, all depending on the record. So, that's
no. I think a good rule of thumb is 13 points will definitely get you a wild card. I think generally.
Yeah. I think
12 points might be enough. But, I think 13 is that golden number.
Looking at all the divisions as it stands right now, we'll ignore the person who's on top with 12 points, with Mr. Tiny Face. We've got 4 teams currently in double figures. Probably 5 if Blaine does win his game in hand. So you would say those 5 are definitely in the driving seat for a playoff spot, and that would mean that 2 would be coming from the not league, as things stand. And really then the last wild card really is up for grabs. But yeah, let's move on to Jack, because I don't like talking about myself. It just depresses me. So there's clearly you're running away with it as usual. We need to come up with a team that is so bad that even you can't win with them. But no, I mean, obviously you've played 4-1-4. You've got a good touchdown differential, +8 compared to the next best in your team is Ove with a touchdown of level. And you're actually doing really well on casualties as well. There's only the Ogres that are one better casualty than you, and 2 better on the casualty differential. So
I've got 16 cas, but I think probably about 14 of them have all come from the same player.
Okay. I wasn't sure whether it counts you killing yourself as well. Does that count, or?
Yeah, I don't think it does.
So I'm gonna ignore you because you've clearly got the league wrapped up already, and you're through. So let's just in the same way that we did with ankle breakers. But the fight for second is actually really interesting.
Well, yeah, I mean, this division has actually been really, really close this season. So if you take my 4 wins out of it, every other team has, I think, they've probably been bottom at one point in the season, bottom or second to bottom. They've also all been second or close to second.
Yeah, so I mean, we've got 3 points separate second to bottom. Let's have a look at the last round of fixtures, because that will be interesting. So we're in Jack this time. So match day 5. So we've got Blackadders are playing you. So I'm not going to say it's a foregone conclusion, because actually I don't think that it is. But law of averages says it probably is.
Well, Reggie has said it is, because I think he played against the Halflings in the game before, and the Halflings destroyed his team.
Let's just have a look at his players. I do remember. I mean, Miko hammers everybody. Doesn't seem to matter what he plays as. He just kills people.
Playing as Halflings and still, rips out the heart of the team. So 2 blockers have missed next game.
Yeah,
and I think there was a death as well. So that means that there's going to be 2.
So he's currently got 9 players for the match against you. So he's going to have 2 random linemen.
Yeah, which could be anything from a Snotlin to an Orc lineman.
I mean, of the players that he's got, he has got some really good players. So,
I mean, at the start of the season, this was the one game that I was most fearful of.
Yeah.
Because I was wanting to get dodge on the vampires, and then you've got all this tackle there that would.
Because I mean, the Halflings really have done you a favour there, to be fair.
Yeah, I really have.
So we'll for argument's sake, we'll say that Reggie's going to be on 5 points going into the grudge match week. So then we've got The Ogres are playing Nadrak this week, which again I thought Nadrak could probably do a little bit better than he has.
Well, he's playing as a new team. He's never played as Bretonnians before. This is his first season using them.
And actually,
I do think they're a very tricky team to play as because they've got no high strength. It's just all about that hit and run tactic almost. Yeah. You got the peasants who would defend, they get hit, and then they're free.
He's not had a huge amount of development other than the people that he drafted. So obviously, Autumn Falls.
That's not true. He's got loads of development, but it's all gone on the same player.
Oh, is it? So Lance's a lot. Is that the?
Yeah, he's collected everything. 26 experience. It's all gone.
8 movement, along with also taking dodge. Okay. So, actually, although Owuth's Ogres are obviously currently in second, I will stick my neck out and say I think Nadrak's going to win that, just because the fend will mean that the Ogres are going to struggle to get hits.
Ogres will be able to pile on because of fend.
That's right.
But, yeah.
But what do you reckon?
They'll still get hits.
There's no doubt about that. But I mean, what do you think? What's your take on that matchup?
So Nadrak's only got 13 players. I suppose a lot of it'll depend upon how early the cows start flowing, because there will be casualties from the Ogres onto Nadrak. So it'll be how early those happen.
Owuth has got a movement bust on one of his Ogres.
Is he still at 4, or is he? Sorry, is he still at 5, or has he got 6 Ogres now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 as it stands. Plus, he's got the 2 Black Orc blockers and Saurus.
He needs to build up his treasury. He needs to get that 6th Ogre.
Yeah, that's what Owuth needs, is an extra strength 5 mighty blow player. Okay, so what's your prediction for that game then?
I hope that Nadrak wins. I don't want to face Owuth in game 6. I won't have a team left for the playoffs.
And then the last match in this round will be Miko's Halflings against Luke's Treebeards. Again, I think that's going to be a really interesting game, because obviously Miko, despite being Halflings, he's doing all right. And Luke, in his first season in the league, he's also doing pretty good. I can't remember. Oh, it looks like Luke's got 3 missing X games for this match, which he's not. And he's also got a lineman who's got an armor value 6. He's going to be on the line just cannon fodder until he dies, I assume, if he's not sacking him. So yeah, he's going to be struggling to field a side for the start.
Well, two of his missed next games are actually 2 players that have got skills. Yeah. So there's very few players on the team that have leveled up. It just happens to be 2 of them are the level ups. Crucially as well, the game is at home for Miko, which means he'll get star players cheaper.
Yeah.
I mean, this season's been so fortunate for my vampires. I got to play Miko at home, so I didn't have to face all the extra star players. I'm getting to play the Chaos Dwarfs when they've been battered by Halflings. It's been real fortunate for me, I think. I don't think it's a true reflection of the league.
So, assuming that my prediction comes true, you would be playing either Nadrak or Luke in the final match, because both of those would be on 7 points. So at the moment, the TD differential is 1 between them. But you could easily be playing the ogres as well. I think this is really hard to call who's going to be playing who in the grudge matches, and actually the grudge matches could very well dictate who finishes where. I think it's also Jack is possibly the one league that's going to struggle to get the results to get a wild card spot.
Yeah, so I don't think that anyone will get a wild card in this one because it has been that close. Like the gap between all the skill level of every player in this league has been so close. I think because everyone's been taking points off each other.
Yeah.
Other than the vampires, but everyone else there's not been like a group whipping play or something. Everyone has just been taking points off each other.
Yeah, and considering Miko's playing halflings, he's won one. Obviously, he's lost three, but his touchdown differential is only -4. That's not horrendous for flings.
Yeah, so I mean, if you take everyone's record off against me, so Miko's played 3, won 1, lost 2. That's not bad. And same for say for Nadrak, that's played 3, won 1, lost 1, drawn 1.
Yeah.
Same for Liv, won 1, lost 1, drawn 1. Reg played 4, won 1, drawn 2, lost 1. And then Owoof won 2, lost 1. So yeah, everyone has been picking up points, but then also dropping them against each other.
Yeah.
So it's been really close. If you just ignore the vampire results, it's been such a close division.
Jack tends to be like that because it was last season as well, wasn't it? I don't think there was a wild card out of Jack last year, from what I remember.
No, there was. Nadrak got the wild card.
Okay, fair enough. I'm rubbish at this, like I said. So what does that leave us? Is it not that we haven't done? Or is it man?
No, it's man. It's going well for you, isn't it?
Oh, it's yeah. We'll say yeah. So so here, this is a really interesting league. So I'll be honest, I haven't seen many games in it, but looking at the results and the points for everybody at the moment is it's just really close, isn't it? So if I just load up the current website, so we've got the Oops All Chaos are in the driving seat, but at the moment they've not quite run away with it as yet. Bungee Balls, who is a debutant in bingo this year, always plays flings and is really good with flings. In second place with flings is impressive by any stretch.
What's worrying is that he could actually get a playoff spot.
He could
for flings.
I mean, let's have a look at the final matchup. So
he's playing against Chaos Dwarfs next.
So he's playing.
On paper's not great, but I mean, show him what he can do against the other teams, particularly the Chaos in the last game where he got his tie.
Yeah. So if he was to win that, he'd be playing, in all likelihood, Oops All Chaos in the grudge match, which is just.
Yeah, well, if he wins this, he's guaranteed to play Oops All Chaos in the same game.
Absolutely. So who else have we got? So Who Flexer is playing Isaac Schilder. And then Joe is playing the Chaos side. So I'm just looking at the matchup. So you would say, based on the league tables, that Isaac you would have thought would win, and you would have thought Joe would probably lose based on the matchups.
No, not necessarily. Joe's really good.
He is, to be fair.
He's at home with his goblins, so he'll get cheap stars. It's a definite banana skin for the Chaos team.
Yeah,
going into that game.
And
I would agree that Chaos are probably still favourites for the game, but it's definitely not an all foregone
No,
conclusion.
I mean, what is going to be a big blow for Joe is his Trolls out miss next game.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well, that'll just mean he'll definitely get Bloodbowl plus another star.
Yeah, I mean he's got a decent bench. He's got his
That's gonna be
fanatic.
quite annoying. Actually, that's gonna be quite annoying actually that you can't take because you're limited to only having 2 stars. Because Joe would probably be able to afford like 3 or 4 stars, judging by how cheap they are normally, plus his altar and plus the TV difference between the teams.
Well, that's right. I mean, and he created some absolute chaos. Was it last match or the match before? Where he killed half the team, didn't he?
Who was that against? Was that against?
I can't remember. Let me just go back through the matches. So, yeah. So Joe against the Sylvanian Neckties, he got 4 KOs, 3 casualties, 2 deaths, and he did a surf as well.
Oh yes, killed a strength 5 vampire. That was just ridiculous.
Yeah. So.
Killed the flesh golem with block and with blodge.
Yeah, and that's right. So Isaac Schilder, his going in for his last match, although he's playing Hooflexer, who is currently bottom, he's only got 1 vampire on a vampire team, and that vampire is out missed next game.
So he's not missed next game. So he just -1 movement, or is that missed next game?
No, so Fredo Three Fangs, he's missed next game, and then he's got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 thralls and a ghoul.
Still the team.
unless Spike's not caught up, that's the current situation. So that's going to be tough for a vampire team with no vampires.
Get some inducements.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, God! It's team value of 810 at the moment.
Yeah. So what are we thinking for man? Are we going oops or chaos to win it?
Yeah, I think that's probably the most likely result.
So I'm just going to bring up.
Like...
Go on, sorry, mate.
So I suspect that Oops All Chaos's last 2 fixtures will be goblins and halflings, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's definitely goblins, and it looks like it's probably going to be halflings in the final game.
Yeah.
So and already up 10 points, so you'd certainly expect them to get at least 1 win, which would give them a wild card, and probably 2 wins, which would give them the title.
So I think our predictions, Jack is obviously you, Not is Mr. Tiny Face's ankle breakers. Man, we are saying the Oops All Chaos, and End, we are going with Blaine.
Yeah.
So they are our 4, and you would say that you and the ankle breakers are going to be the 2 with the wild card. The straight through to the semi-finals as having the best records.
I don't know. Maybe the Dwarfs and the Chaos team, because I'm so suspect of my vampires. I've been in a bad game where they all bite the thralls and I've got no one left. So I'm still expecting one of those.
Well, I'm going to be less modest on your behalf. So you and the ankle breakers are going to get the buys. So that would mean that Patlanicus and Blaine are the winners going through, and then that means that the race for the final wildcard spots is between Nate, me to a point, Eggers with a bunch of beardos, and Bungee Balls with his flings.
Yeah. I reckon definitely Nate.
I think
definitely one of Nate and Eggers will get a wild card.
Yeah,
I think, and then it's I don't know if it'll be You've obviously got a chance, but I still think you're going to muck up your fifth game.
I think the trouble is if I muck up my fifth game, I'm almost certain to muck up the sixth game because I'll be playing Blaine in all likelihood. So that would mean that I just miss out again, which is probably what I would expect. So I'm actually going to go that I think it's going to be Nate, and I think it's going to be the Flings. I think Bungee Balls is going to do it with his Flings.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Maybe Owoof, if he can win his last two games and be on 12 points, maybe that could be enough.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go for that.
Okay, well, that's interesting. So if we see you purposely losing in that, we'll know that you're doing it just so your prediction comes true.
Although, what will happen is that I have to face him game 6, and I'll be just petrified of going anywhere near his ogres, and so he'll just be able to walk in. But then knowing Owoof, I don't think he'll even try and score. I think he'll just be trying to kill me.
Well, I think he'll be trying to help everybody else in the league, because we don't want you to go 3 in a row. That would just be rubbing it in everybody else's faces. So, so yeah, I mean, I think that's our prediction. So, I think we're both in agreement for the league winners. We're both in agreement for the first wild card spot of Nate. And I'm going for the Flings, and you're going for the Ogres as the final spot. So,
how ridiculous does that sound? That we're expecting halflings or ogres to get in the playoffs.
Well, the thing is, Bungee Balls is extremely good with his Flings. He's he keeps his TV really low. He gets no SPP on any of his players. So he gets full inducements. He takes Zara every game. He takes a third tree often, and he knows what he's doing really well. And you can never write off Owoof because he won the first bingo Blood Bowl. He's also a really good player. And at the end of the day, when you've got the ogres with all that strength and mighty blow and if you get hit hard, don't you? So,
and I mean, Blood Bowl's a very easy game when you're only facing 6 players because you've killed him with 5. So yeah.
So that's our predictions. Obviously, anybody who wants to comment in Discord with telling us how stupid we are, feel free to say, well, what about me? Why have you written us off?
Should we go to the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, let's go into the Hall of Fame. So, Players Hall of Fame.
I think we maybe just need to mention that Holly Gibney needs to die. And if anyone gets the face against Orcs last stand in the last 2 games, make sure you, a full 16 turns, just blitz Holly Gibney every single turn.
Foul, yeah, I know. So the entire league wants Holly to die. Apart from me, who I think the problem is I'm now at the position where, although the rest of my team are doing all right, I save my apothecary now just for her because she's just too experienced.
Holly's personal assistant.
That's right. I mean, if we talk about Holly, I've always tried to not talk about her, but she's the most experienced player. She also has, if we just scroll down, she's also got 4 touchdowns in this season, but she's got the most touchdowns of all time. In fact, if I do it for all seasons. So Holly is the most experienced player ever. By some distance, Buttplug has got 67 SPP and Holly's got 82. So
this could be Holly's last season as well.
It could, and to be fair, if it is, then it makes me have a real dilemma of what I do next season. she's up there with obviously Jakub and Ree, who both have got 4 kills each as being bingo Blood Bowl legends. I mean, Ree he's gonna struggle to ever be surpassed with the amount of kills, casualties, armor breaks. He's just something else. But then
Ree gets all the attention. But actually, Jakub was one hell of a player.
Yeah, absolutely.
24 casualties inflicted.
Yeah. So what else have we got? We've got push-outs, Loz, surprisingly or not, bearing in mind how you play. 17
Rest
push.
in peace.
Yeah, so she had 17 certs, so she's still 5 in front of anybody else.
Faye Reagan, 123 blocks taken.
Yeah,
that's probably a record that might not get surpassed.
Well, is that the one that's got both stand firm and
Lodge?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you look at the touchdowns, Holly's got 19, Uzziah Lykius has got 18. So, interestingly, from the Blackadder's 11, so this is a new team, I think. He's got 11 touchdowns this year, Strofe. Obviously, some of those came from because he was drafted, but he's still doing all right.
Quite surprising is that none of my Stabia Prime players ever got there on the touchdowns, despite.
I think that's probably scoring. Because you just shared it out amongst everybody, didn't you? So.
Yeah. Because I think I had maybe 3 blitzers plus the gutter runners plus the wing chops. I think I did.
Whereas all of my scores come from one player, your scores were shared out. Although to be fair, my Orc thrower scored this week, so you know.
That was on his debut, wasn't
it? Yeah, it was. And I think we should also just point out the interceptions. We've got a Black Orc blocker has got an interception. Amazon Blitzer, you know, that's part of the course. Orc thrower, kind of expected. You've also got a Dwarf blocker and a Rat Ogre. So.
What's quite impressive or surprising in a slight way is that no player has ever done 2 interceptions.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Which means that people need to start taking pass block more often.
I think that may change in the next game because if I throw, you're guaranteed that Randall Flagg is going to have a massive game against me in the next game because he
one of your former players, isn't it?
Absolutely. I give him piling on, and I'm just regretting that for tomorrow's game, if I'm honest. So, are there any other players you want to? If we look at season 4 players, so
yeah, I was just going to say going back to season 4.
So, Lumberlong Winded has got 2 kills. The Halfling Tree Man.
One of the most impressive players this season, though, has probably got to be Jake Two Bags. He's played.
Oh yeah.
So he's played 4 games and he's managed to get 5 casualties received.
That is impressive.
So he's actually regen, came back, and then got cast again. That is dedication. That's the dedication I want to see on my team.
Yeah. That's the 154 of snooker, isn't it? That's just right there.
So if anyone's looking for who to draft next season, I'd definitely take a look at Jake Two Bags if he's available.
Brian,
Mr. Commitment himself.
You're not mentioning Brian the Vanquisher as inflicting so many casualties. Your Undead White.
So what's he on? 16? 9 casualties.
9 cas, yeah. Isn't that more than you got in the entire of your team last season?
Yeah. So my team this season's got 16 cas. He's got 9 himself. And if I just look at last season, how many cas I got 3 cas in all my games last season.
And that's including playoffs?
No, that was just in the regular season.
Okay.
I go into the playoffs. In the playoffs, I got 0 cas. So yes, it was included in the playoffs. In 9 games last season, I got 0 Kaz. I got 3 Kaz.
That's impressive.
Yeah, quite impressive.
So again, he's also got the most armor breaks as well, followed by Mighty Blow Block, the ogre, on 25. So I'm assuming he's the one who does the most damage in your team.
I was just looking at last season. I suffered 20 Kaz across my 9 games and made 3 myself. What were you saying? Sorry about.
Well, I was just saying that Brian the Vanquisher, he's got obviously most casualties inflicted, most armor breaks and knockouts.
And he's tied for stuns.
but he's not killed anybody, so
No, he's quite a sporting player. He's not one of these that is underhanded anyway.
But Randall Flagg as well. He's in quite a few of these. He's got quite a few stuns. He's got a few armor breaks as well. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to playing him. I know what he's all about. He only cares about
Mighty blow greater than blocks up there as well, isn't he?
Yes. Yeah, he is.
And, my next game's against Chaos Dwarf, so I can't imagine that Brian's going to be getting too many more. Unless in those journeymen that he'll have taken, if one of them turns out to be a snotling, then I'll be licking my lips.
Looking at the number of passes, no surprise to see a wood elf at the top, but also Skaven Thrower from the Dwarf Rats has got 4 successful passes as well.
Yeah, Namtar does like the throwing game. I remember playing him last season with his Amazons, and he was throwing like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, and he's got a gutter runner who's caught three of the passes. So. So that covers the players. So, anything else you want to cover, or you think we've talked enough?
I think we've definitely gone on far too long.
Well, if there is anybody still with us at this point, and you've not fallen asleep, let us know what you think in the Discord. And good luck for the last 2 games of the season. And we will see you all again for the for the prior to the playoff show when we'll go through all the playoff teams and our predictions for that as well.
Yeah. Oh, just one more thing. Nadrak, I wasn't joking earlier. Just make sure you do win against the Ogres. I don't want to play against them.